Welcome to the Mobile Workforce Podcast, where we sit down and have real conversations with business leaders that have been where you are. During these interviews, we'll dive into what it takes to improve systems and champion processes that maximize performance. Each week, our trailblazing guests share their experiences and understanding of the workforce to help inspire change, challenge our thinking, and share what it takes to successfully travel the road to profitability. Now here's our host, co-founder and chief evangelist of About Time and WorkMax, Mike Merrill.
Hello and welcome back to the Mobile Workforce Podcast. I am your host, Mike Merrill, and today we are sitting down with my esteemed guest and friend, Mr. Steve Antill, the CRO of Foundation Software. Welcome, Steve.
Thank you, Mike. Second time on the podcast. It's been a while.
Yeah.
A little different this time.
It is a little different.
First time we were partners. Now, welcome. You're part of the Foundation family. So
Thank you.
Let's flip it back to you. I'm going to interview you for a minute.
Great. Okay. Sounds good. I'm in the hot seat.
How you guys feeling?
Feeling
about
great.
Joining the Foundation family. What's your thoughts? And it's been about a month. How do we think things are going?
Feeling great. It's fantastic. I think we've had these conversations for many, many years. We've been a very nice partnership in the industry, worked together, have lots of mutual customers, lots of history. We've seen each other at events. We participated in your guys' user conferences for a decade and a half or more.
One of the few vendors that have been to every single one of them, which is super awesome.
Yeah, that's true. So just such a natural fit. We always knew that you guys would be a great candidate for us to work with more permanently. And so when this opportunity came about and you guys came knocking a few times, we felt like, if we could work something out, this would be a match made in heaven. And when I look around the table and talk to everybody on the team, those are the only things that I'm hearing.
Yeah, and obviously from our side, we're super excited. And as I told you over the last couple of weeks, now that this has come together, we started looking at M&A transactions going back to about September of 2020. You guys were 1, 2, and 3 on the list. So as you just said, it took a while.
Yeah.
Knocked on the door a few times and were told no. And it's come together nicely. It took a while, probably a little longer than we wanted, but we're super excited. And from our end, best in class timekeeping solution coming into our family with Foundation, payroll for construction, our HQ suite, which we think this is going to complement very nicely with Safety HQ as well as some of the Project HQ features. It's such a natural fit. We're so excited on our end to just pull it all together and get a lot of mutual clients working in 2+ systems, you guys, us, Project HQ, and see where things go.
Yeah, it is interesting. My partners and I mean, we've been going 2 decades, 20 years. I've known you for pretty much all of that. And we've been friends in the industry. And we've always had a nice affinity, I think, for each other. And again, participating in user conferences, we always felt like, this feels like home when we're there with your team. A lot of collaboration and just the fabric that your company was built on. And I feel like things have been continuing forward in just felt like a really good fit for our blue collar, gritty, dig in up to the elbows work ethic. Just seems to be a really nice thing that we have in common.
A couple of things that are really exciting that we think about and really respect about you guys is the fact of how hard you bootstrapped, had some lean times, talking to a couple of partners going back to your early years, talking about they were worried about, making payroll week to week. And, there's a lot to be said for grinding it out for 20 years, bootstrapping the business and building just a beautiful company. And, we're so excited because culturally it's just such a natural fit, employee centric, very good sales organization, great customer service, great retention with the customers. And how often, right, do we, doing this for 20+ years, you run into someone that can talk the union talk, the prevailing wage, the complex labor intensive items that, these specialty trade contractors must have. There's so many folks in our industry and that are on the software side, and so many of them cater to, pre-construction and the GC world and construction management, where we've kind of grinded it out with the labor intensive contractors, us 35 years, you guys 20 plus years. So it's cool to sit down and rap with someone who actually understands all the lingo and terminology that when they got 500 people on payroll, in San Francisco, and then they go over the bridges and, switching union jurisdictions, we live that world, and it's so awesome that you guys swim in that same pool and just bringing it together.
Yeah, you bring up an interesting point. The California overtime rules and some of those complexities that we've always been really good at helping companies solve, but we haven't always had great partners to work with to take that data that we've collected in that manner and feed it back to a system that actually can handle all of that in an automated fashion, right? A lot of manual work with a lot of systems. So this is a natural fit with payroll for construction.
Yeah, right. And, we sit here and think about it as, right, the left hand meet right hand, work max meet payroll for construction, and the fact that you may have some contractors that may be on the smaller side that use QuickBooks that do not need a construction specific ERP solution. And they're cool with QuickBooks, but their payroll needs are very sophisticated and complex. And hey, let's capture that time in the field with all the rules, the California rules, and then, hey, we don't want to process it. We don't have the people in house to do it, so let's ship that over to payroll for construction to be processed. And then obviously, the natural fit there is maybe they start with those two products and they work very well hand in hand, and their company continues to evolve, and they start getting asked for, bonding reports from the bank, bonding company, and then they transition to foundation. So again, so much synergy between almost all of what we do along with what you guys bring to the table. So that's what's so exciting on our end.
Yeah, we love this this story, even because, as you well know, and other partners in the industry, other companies, we've written hundreds of integrations historically. We work with everybody. We've kind of touted that we've always been Switzerland, so to speak, and we don't care what people need or want to use for their ERP or for their job cost or even payroll for that matter. We just want to collect better data and feed that to their system of choice. And so, I think it's good to bring up in this conversation, that seems to still be the approach that you'd like us to continue to take with WorkMax, right?
Listen, I mean, dethroning accounting systems in companies, especially when they put the time and energy into getting something specific for their company, tends to be construction specific, is near but impossible. I mean, it's challenging. And most of these systems can do almost everything these contractors want, and so many folks underutilize the viewpoints of the world. The computer uses the foundations, the Sage 300s. Where, if you have a client that uses WorkMax and Sage and they're happy, we're not chasing that. I mean, that's a good solution for them. It works. They go to bed at night knowing they have a really best in class timekeeping solution that's talking to their accounting that works for them. So, right, it's tough to be Switzerland more and more as time progresses. But us going out to chase these companies off their accounting systems, because that's the backbone of our business, it's not something we're going to do. And on top of it, it's all but impossible to get some of these companies that are quite content to do it anyways. We'd be spinning our wheels. So we really, from our approach going into acquiring you guys, we had in our mind, maintaining these partnerships with some of these other best in breed, best in class solutions throughout our industry on both the project management side, other ERPs. It's just, that has to stay in place and maintain on your guys' end. It's good for the clients. It's good for the retention of the clients with both products. It's frankly just the right thing to do with the companies.
Yeah, which we love. And that was a part of our decision-making process also. We felt like it was important that we didn't want to displace our customer base and say, okay, well now we're, acquired by Foundation. And so, we're going to try and make people switch, because that's not who we are.
We consider it somewhat bad business. I mean, these companies have put hundreds, if not thousands of hours into implementing these ERP solutions as well as other project management systems and having these pieces tied together. And if it works, it works. We're happy to have you guys on board and happy to get that part of their business. And if down the road they have a need for a payroll service, well, payroll service can come into play and possibly, work with you guys as well as maybe their already existing ERP solution as well. What I always thought was really cool is, and I think this is a testament to your guys' businesses, as we started doing heavy due diligence and really, kind of peeling the onion back a little bit, like, it's impressive the amount of integrations you guys have put together over the last 20 years. I mean, we see such a consolidation of these accounting packages the last 15 years. And that's a great partner for you guys. But when you said, hey, there's 30 players out there that we still have integrations with, I mean, that's impressive. And then they work. I mean, for a second, we're kind of like, is there still 30 players out there?
Yeah.
But it proves the point that there's a lot of construction companies that are very ingrained in an accounting system, and it works well for them. And it's testament to you guys that you guys, have built those integrations. They work well for the client, and you maintain them over time too. It's a good quality of the About Time brand, and it kind of tells the story of how you guys have been Switzerland and have worked really hard at it over the years.
Yeah, I appreciate that. We were on a mission to do that when we originally first started in the industry. Of course, QuickBooks was the first integration we wrote. It was kind of a natural. And then the old Master Builder, which is owned by Sage now, was the second, because it was actually very similar. The API was similar. So it was like the shortest route to a construction specific ERP. And then, and then we had Foundation and the old Sage Timberline products and Computeries that you mentioned, and Viewpoint, of course, and back in the day, Maxwell Systems, Maxwell Management Suite, American Contractor, and then a bunch of others, CMICs of the world, and, other companies have come up also. So it's a lot to maintain. And it was sort of the long route. It was not the shortcut, and it was a lot of heavy lifting, but we felt like we just want to be the answer for accurate, real-time data, visibility, and intelligence for construction. So instead of us trying to corner some market or some customer base or another, we just wanted to serve the market. And I think that's been part of our secret sauce. It's helped us be successful enough to garner your interest.
What's scary about what you said that's making me laugh inside my mind here as you're talking is we've both been around doing this for 25 plus years, and you're talking about Maxwell. I was going to throw out, hey, you guys probably have an integration with like InfoSource and Denab. Some of the, I mean, there's just been so many packages in our industry that have come and gone, and some of them that served companies well for decades and decades. It just, it proves we've been around the block a little bit.
Kind of a funny story about that, and it is kind of interesting. So again, Maxwell Management Suite and American Contractor. So we were working with customers that were on those products. And it seems like regionally, like there was some place in California where they must have had a really good American Contractor dealer. And, so we would get these pockets of customers, and then they would refer their friends. And pretty soon we got 20 people in Orange County, California, that are all using us and American Contractor. Well, when Viewpoint bought Maxwell Management Suite and Maxwell Systems, the company, and we went to a user conference, they introduced me to the Maxwell people. They said, hey, this is Mike Merrill. He's one of the guys at About Time, one of our partners. And they're all like, well, yeah, we know Mike. And they're like, what do you mean you know Mike? How do you guys know Mike? And they're, oh, we've been partners for years. And they're like, oh, we had no idea. We thought we were the only partners with these, and so I felt like we were doing a good job of helping everybody feel like we were giving them the attention and taking care of them as partners and their customers, right?
Complementing what they were already offering to the customer. And what's funny about what you said is I was in California for a long time, from 2003 to about 2012, and American Contractor, you're right. I mean, it was dominant out there. And you know what? We still run into companies that use it and that we chase at, hey, we'd love to at least show you Foundation. Some of them are like, we're not changing from it. It still works for us. How it works, I'm not sure, because I don't believe they've done updates in a while. But there's companies that are just so ingrained in it, and it works for them, and they're happy. And they probably have you guys tied on top of it in some of those installs, and it just works. So
we still have a pile of them still using it. They're like, well, it's on this box, and until something breaks there, we're just going to run with it for a while. So old construction mentality that we all love sometimes.
So from your side, one of the things we're doing is, as we move forward here is, bringing these two companies together and ingraining you guys in our marketing sales philosophy. And it just spending time with your sales guys, last week and, over last month a little bit. It's so exciting because, we sit down and it's kind of like you guys bring the story to here, and then we can bring it to here, and talking about all the needs of the labor intensive contractors, certified payrolls, a huge item on our end that almost every one of the Foundation clients and P4C clients need. And what we get so excited about is they're going to capture the hours correctly and within the rules in the laws of like states of California, and there's other complex ones like Washington and whatnot, and that's captured correctly, and then it's going to feed either into payroll for construction or foundation. I think what's really exciting is the potential where it's just going to streamline that process. So if they have to do union reports or certified payroll, and as you know, certified payroll can be extremely hairy and complex. And then you got states like California, which has special requirements, and as the years have progressed, more and more complexities with it. I mean, I think it's really exciting, and we're ready, to really bring this together and tell that story where you can start here, collect the time, and it'll go all the way through to the back end reporting on the payroll side. I think that's what's super, super interesting.
Yeah, it's funny how, and I think it's like this for us, even in our personal lives, when you find a new product that you didn't know about or you hadn't heard about, and you're like, oh my gosh, what, why didn't I ever hear about this before? And other people are like, what are you talking about? It's been around 10 years. And we get companies all the time that are, new to us for one reason or another. We never crossed paths. We didn't run into them at an event. Our email marketing or whatever else never really got in touch with them. And they find us like they just discovered, like gold or something. Like, where have you guys been? Like, I've needed this for 10 years. And it's like, oh, it's been here, but.
Yeah, that's what's really also exciting on our end is, right, we have a lot of clients that use the foundation mobile solution, which is more of an entry-level solution, cost-effective as well for a lot of folks, especially as they go from spreadsheets, baby steps. But the reality of it is we have clients that are, they want tools like biometrics. We have a lot of clients in states that have a high Spanish-speaking population that, some of their field employees struggle using our tools because they don't convert over. So I think for our clients, knowing our clients are 6,000 accounting folks and a couple thousand more P4C clients, this is really exciting because you guys bring to the table things we really lack within our mobile solution. And not every one of our clients needs that level of it, because we have some clients that, hey, we just want a tool in the field we can capture base level stuff, but then, maybe talk to us about, what you see with the biometrics and the facial recognition and some of the benefits you really think that can bring to the table for, foundation clients and just the general construction company as well.
Yeah, it's interesting that, I heard, and I can't remember, one of our reps was demoing, or they were talking about, they were saying this term they use when they're talking to people, it's the right face in the right place, So it's the GPS with the facial recognition. And it's nice because even during COVID and, with PPE equipment or hard hats or sunglasses, our patented, now Foundation's patented technology.
Thank you, by the way.
Yeah, you bet. Yeah. One of those, came with the deal, right? Bundled in. But that technology and the way that we handle all of that is built for construction. So there's no problems with, worn off fingerprints because they're in concrete, like the old biometric, readers that you had to have. And it works offline and it works any device. Like you said, if they speak Spanish primarily, the navigation's in Spanish, so they know what they're reading and doing. And just that's something construction's needed for a long time, to bridge that gap and to get sort of a foot in the door for technology and field people that are blue collar workers that are skilled at the trades, but maybe not as tech savvy when it comes to this kind of technology and accounting and those types of things. So it's nice to be able to serve an industry that needs it, wants it, requires it in some cases, and they're substantially more profitable and more efficient because of it. So it's a great business to be in.
Yeah, I think from our end, what happened maybe 3 years ago was, right, we're growing, we're doing really well as a business, and a lot of our clients came to us and said, hey, we like doing business with you. It'd be really cool if you guys have a mobile solution. And that's what we put out over the last, 10 years and various stages and whatnot. But I think maybe 3 years ago, we started looking in the mirror and saying, hey, the core of our business is accounting and job costing. And I think we've done pretty well getting into some field project management as the industry's demanded it. But I think with the time collection, we've kind of had that come to Jesus moment where we're never going to be able to go to a higher level here with it, where you have systems like you guys, especially you guys, best in class, best of breed solutions that are just so much farther along, and you see with the offerings of the accounting packages. And I think we were able to take a step back as a business and say, listen, we'll continue to develop our mobile and we want to take care of our clients as best as possible, but we're going to eventually hit a wall with this where there's just clients that want biometrics, kiosk mode, and it's just not in the core of our DNA to do that. Now adding features to payroll and adding features to job costing, that's in our DNA. That's what we're very good at. So this is why it's super exciting, because now we can go to those clients and say, hey, you've kind of hit a wall with mobile. You like using it, but it doesn't do all those higher level features that you may be looking for or wanting or needing. And now we can introduce you guys, which, it's a great solution. And, maybe, talked about the ROI. I'm fascinated by this because, as we've gotten to know you guys much better, it's incredible the amount of money, if they're using you guys properly and it's set up correctly, they can save by using the product, right? Because everybody's thinking, how much does this cost? In reality, it's how much will this save your company?
Yeah.
Because you're so inefficient in collecting the time.
Yeah, it pays for itself before lunch on day one that they use it. So, and then they're never going to catch up. Like, they're always in the green. They're always in the money after that. So the American Payroll Association, there's lots of studies. I mean, over the last 2 decades, because we read all of them. It's anywhere from like 42 to 57 minutes a day is over-reported. I mean, that's a fact. That's not some number. There's all these studies, and they're all in that range. And so when they've used, technology that actually affirm, like ours, but other things that actually prove 100%, here's the actual attendance of these employees, people are over-reporting for 3/4 of an hour a day. And so that means no production for that 45 minutes. Well, what if they get overtime? Well, now we're paying time and a half on time that they weren't even there. And then gross payroll, as we know, is what is used to calculate the overtime and the FICA and all the Medicare and all the burden, right, that's on top of that is based, and work comp is based on gross payroll. So if you reduce gross payroll because now you're reporting accurate hours, all of a sudden these other costs go down, all of a sudden overtime shrinks. And now when they're done with the job, there's a pile of cash this tall that's left in their pocket that these companies have never seen in their history. And you start stacking cash like that, and all of a sudden it's like you just did 2 more jobs this year that you never have done in the past. You've got that profit and that production that you effectively earned a profit margin that you fit in 2 extra jobs you never even had to do.
And I've always thought in our industry, especially in our space with subcontractors, we always talk about marketing and how to get people to become interested in our products and raise their hand. And I've always thought education is marketing. And that story you just told, how can we get that out? Not just to our clients and people we want to sell our products to, but the awareness. I mean, that's good business. I mean, that's just making these companies think and want to become more efficient in running their day-to-day. And the one thing I think about often that's actually benefited our company tremendously is the years progress, government gets bigger and payroll continuously becomes more bureaucratic, more reporting, more rules, more items companies have to do that they're just not really equipped for. And as much as we like selling them these products and, they become great customers for us, there's so many ways that they can benefit from the efficiencies of using someone like you guys, that ROI you're talking about too. On our let us process your payroll, like processing payroll is not easy. Paying your taxes is complex. Generating certified payroll, not easy. And, a lot of these companies are so understaffed. Obviously in the field, we talk about that all the time. And, CFMA talks about that constantly, but also in the office, these companies are drowning with these day-to-day tasks related to time capture, getting it into the office, getting it processed in the accounting and payroll system, to getting the back-end reporting out, to even paying the taxes, right? So much like you guys, we get very obsessive and wanting to educate folks out there to say you're already running short in the office. Why don't you guys take these good employees you have and have them focus on things that help grow your business and bring a lot of value to the business versus printing certified payrolls? There's, the efficiencies that we can do their ACA reporting, their 1095, 1094C. These are things contractors, it's not their DNA to do. It's unnatural for a lot of them. And using something like you guys, they're builders. Like, go build more.
Yeah.
So that's what's so cool about all of this is I think there's so much opportunities for you guys, us, other technology partners in our space to really start trying to open folks' eyes. There's so many folks out there that's still old school and they're nervous and they don't know what they don't know.
Yeah.
And there's so many great technology tools in the labor space and the project management space that just help these companies run clean and efficient and allow them to build, like you said, and grow their business versus the monotony of doing this stuff by hand and printing reports and fighting with government agency on taxes. Like, that's one of the great benefits of payroll for construction and general payroll services. Let them take that burden of fighting those battles while you guys focus on your business and building. So,
well, we know, contractors, and this is the thing that, I don't hear this talked about enough. I feel like it's something we try and talk about a lot. Contractors are risk managers. They're just business people like everybody else. It could be making pizzas or running a movie theater or flipping burger, whatever the business is. Like, we're in the business of constructing and building things, roads and bridges and buildings and hospitals and schools and whatever else, right? So we're in this business of building, and it's very risky. It's one of the most risky industries out there. It can be very dangerous. Safety is a huge thing. It's expensive to ensure that your jobs are done safely. It's more expensive to not do them safely. So it's better to do it safely, not only for every other reason, it also financially makes sense to run a safe project. So we're risk managers, and we need to have help and tools and technology to help us better manage this risk. The things that we've always done is try and help these contractors mitigate risk, right? We wanted to be more accurate. We wanted to have accurate information to make decisions on not just safety and other things, but business decisions on labor and equipment utilization and all these other things that they're trying to manage in real time. Just, flying by the seat of their pants, hair's on fire. That's construction. That's why we love it, right? That's what draws people like me or us to this. Is it's a fast-paced thing. We're good at it. But we're not always good at some of the business side of that because it's just not who we are.
It's not who we are, and it's challenging.
It is hard.
It's hard, especially, right? We have the, the 35 going joke that, office manager wants to buy our software. Right. They're on QuickBooks, very affordable. They go up to the owner and say, hey, this is, $20,000 a year. It's going to do all our accounting. It's going to handle that. Owner just can't justify in their mind going from a couple $100 to that jump in money. But then they go to a trade show and they look at a piece of equipment for $100,000 and they get the checkbook out because
and say, I'll take 3.
Yeah, right. They know how to run a bulldozer, but running a construction office is
that can see the value.
It's challenging and it's hard, and doing everything properly in the back end office it's just not in their DNA. And what's great about our industry, what you guys offer, what we offer, what so many of our friends and technology partners offer, just complements them and can get them in the right spot to mitigate that risk like you're talking about. One of the things as you're talking about risk, that I think about a lot, that we always try and educate our clients about. These are topics, CFMA talks about well, and if you have a good construction CPA, they always have you starting to think this way, right? Some of these contractors, they're hammering in the field, they're busy, they fly by the seat of their pants, and they run their business like a checkbook. They could be $100 million, extremely successful contractor, but they're always looking at cash flow. They want to make sure they have enough cash to cover payroll and their material expenses and whatnot. And, we try to get them thinking a little bit beyond that, where, hey, you got this robust ERP solution that we have, and hopefully you're using it at a mid-level to higher level. But we also want to start thinking about cash flow by job, right? There's different types of jobs they do, and some jobs they get super excited about that they want to bid on. And in reality, it may not be in the best interest of the business because that type of job takes a long time to get paid. There's a lot of red tape, a lot of paperwork before you get paid on it. And, that job could sink them or severely cut into their cash flow, because even though they know it in 3 years when the job's done, extremely profitable. But during the life cycle of that job, it can be painful on their business as a whole from an accounting perspective. Yeah. So as we're talking about that risk mitigation, getting contractors to think beyond just the checkbook mindset, but to start looking at jobs they're bidding, timing of these jobs, how that all correlates to backlog, when these jobs are going to start, how it's going to put a strain on their cash flow, a lot of these folks have never thought that way when they're doing 1 or 2 million in revenue. They're very good at running that backhoe because that's what they've done their whole life. And then they go from 2 million to 10 million, and all of a sudden the challenges that they face from cash flow to capturing that time in the field, it's a whole different ballgame, right? Things look different for a $1 million, $2 million commercial guy than they do for a 5, 10, and then when they get up to 20, 30, it's just a whole nother world.
Which really, to go back to where we started the conversation, that's where our business at About Time Technologies has been, where it's like you get this point where you're doing about $1 million a year and you're hitting your head on the ceiling and you can't crack the nut to figure out how to grow to that next level. And all of a sudden you make a couple of key hires, you make some changes, you market a little different, you do some things, and all of a sudden you're at 2 million, then you're at 5 million. And you get to that 5, and then you're hitting your head on the ceiling, and you spend a few years trying to figure out, how do we get past this, right? And then finally, once you break that glass ceiling and you get out of that and you grow to another, and that's where the point where the serendipity all worked out and met, where it's like, okay, my 3 partners and I are like, okay, we've kind of taken this farther than maybe we, thought we could at this point. Like, we've grown up to this point, and it feels like there's so much more to get to, but we have grown up building this business, and we're too close to the tree to see the forest, maybe. And so we needed a partner to come in that has bigger vision, that's used to running, north of 100 million a year in revenue, to come in and say, oh, no, here's how you do this, and here's how you do that. This actually isn't that complicated. You just got to get out of your own way. You got to do this. You got to do that. This is not a big deal. This is a huge deal, where maybe we're like, I'm not too worried about that, and really we should be. So it's kind of nice for us to see, okay, there is a clear path for us to double or triple what we're doing today and serve more companies and do more good. We just need a little bit different mindset, and you guys provided that for us.
In your business, in our business, in bringing these businesses together, we face the same challenges we just talked about, right? We've crossed certain thresholds.
It's a different ceiling, but yeah, there's still a ceiling, right?
We felt at certain points change and evolve as we keep doing it. And what's so exciting about bringing you guys into the fold is we do believe there's this you guys have this beautiful, wonderful product, best in class. And let's take that and bring it into our system. And then we believe, and I think you guys believe, we're going to be able to put that on steroids and really get that message out to the industry. And what's so cool is being able to wake up a few years down the road and looking at how we've grown the business to that next level, how many contractors have benefited from it. And it's just one of the core applications they're using, and they can't live without it because it's so valuable to their business. So that's exciting, and that's also the fun part for us. And one of the things that we thought was really great about you guys is, much like our story going back all the way to 85, when Fred Odie started our company, our founder, he came from a large union bridge builder, and he wrote a payroll system for him. Construction payroll, computerized construction payroll was in its infancy. Yeah. But he came from a builder. You guys also, which is such a cool story, you guys came from working as contractors. When we went to lunch today, we were driving down the road, and you're like, hey, I built 30 homes in this town. And Ryan, one of the partners, it's in his DNA too. So
project built these custom.
Yeah, you guys, you have that mindset to think like a contractor, to know what these guys want. And it's a testimonial to your business that you just built. You had that mindset. You could relate to the customer and their needs, and you build a really wonderful product around it, which is so exciting.
Well, these are our people. This, and to your point, and cheesy as it could sound, whatever, it's amazing to bless lives the way that we have been able to do it. And when you do that, it's the juice of, it's like the zest. And there's nothing else like hearing a controller or a CFO or a CEO or a payroll admin or other people say, oh my gosh, like I got my weekends back because you guys were using you. And, our payroll's in on time. And I used to hate dealing with payroll. And now I don't. Like you took that burden from me and made my life better. And it's like, wow, it's cool.
And the one thing I always think about, especially when we're ramping up new employees in our business, I think you probably see it too. I'd like to hear your thoughts on this as we talk. Like, we bring together these these folks, and sometimes on the client service side of it, they're the customer facing front of the business. And sometimes they only hear the negative. This isn't working, or this isn't working well for us. And, sometimes they feel beaten down because they're dealing with the customer and only the issues. And then sometimes being out of the weeds on the day to day and being able to be out there in the industry and seeing these people, it's kind of that story you're telling. It's, in a sense, you've helped them so much or changed their life. But I always think of it, I'm like, the industry is so fantastic. And the folks in our industry, whether they're in the residential world, the commercial world, they're doing government work, they tend to be salt of the earth people, very relatable to just trying to do their best jobs, growing good companies, trying to bring good people on board of that. I think it's really rewarding, because I think if you take a step back and you're not in that necessary client facing side of the business, when you're in the business development and sales side, and you see some of the successes of what you guys have done, what some of our products have done, what some of our competitors have done, it's really helped these companies, and they're good people, and it's helped them, and it brings a lot of value, to their businesses. There's a soft side and a number side of the business. And I personally, I know I do, and I know other folks on our team, we do what we do, and as we've done it a long time, you relate to the folks, and they're great people to work with. And the majority of our customers, they're fantastic, and they're shaping our country. Yeah. They're building awesome projects that bring infrastructure forward, and that's exciting.
Schools, our children are being educated. Lives are being saved in these buildings that our customers are building, and they're using our products to build them better and safer and quicker and more efficiently. And that's like this hospital got, completed 3 months early because they were using these types of products to build it better, and more people are helped. Like, it's saving lives.
I know you for a long time, and I know that's rewarding to you and feels good. It does to me as well. I think that's in the DNA of your business, and I know it's in the DNA of our business. That's good stuff we're bringing to the table. A lot of goodwill, and whatnot. So that's fun. That's what I like. That's some of the things that we think about and like about our industry just in general. It's good people, and we bring these great technology tools in place, and it just complements so many nice things that they're already doing.
Well, and this is the essence of why we did this podcast. Started about almost 3 years ago, and we just keep having these conversations every week with great people from the industry to talk about what they're doing that is working, and helping them be better, and helping them be more efficient and avoid pain and mitigate risk, and have a better company, have better culture, help. All of the good things that the construction offers to our communities and our families and these great people that we all work with, elbow to elbow. We got to help each other out. We got to keep this community in a place where it does help society move forward. Where we know there's a labor shortage. We know that we don't have enough young people coming into the trades. There's a big lack of education. We've had tons of companies on here talking about what they're doing to educate their communities, their local schools, their community colleges, their trade techs, NAWIC, National Association of Women in Construction. What are we doing to help bring more women into this area of our business, that we need their help and their talent and their brains? Some of these people are just brilliant, and they're not thinking about construction as a career possibility. And so I love having anything to do with raising awareness and helping invite more people into the tent that helps shape our communities.
Yeah, and what's cool about our industry too in general in this regard is, right, you talk about steady eddy and stability, especially in that commercial sector. And I think a lot of folks, as we talk about, are we in a recession? Are we heading towards a recession? The beauty, especially on the commercial side, is I always think of it as, hey, when the going gets tough, the economy's slow, the government spends more money on construction, right? When the economy's booming, companies, businesses, hey, let's invest in, because they want to do new things and build new buildings. Growing, and whatnot. So I think one of the things that's so exciting about our industry as we move forward too is, right, we, backlog's relatively good right now, should remain solid for the next few years unless something dramatic happens or there's a massive collapse in the economy. But I think there's so much opportunity, and I think technology investors, and I'd love to see this message trickle down to young folks. This is a stable industry. There's tremendous opportunity, in the trades, in becoming a project manager, working in a construction office, finance and accounting. There's just a world of opportunity that exists now, and it's going to exist for many years to come in our industry. And that's really cool.
Yeah, it is technology. We've had drone pilots on, on the podcast. We've had people that are in, VR type stuff, or they're in design and engineering, and they're doing things with BIM and all of these things that 10 years ago, 15 years ago weren't even a thing. So there's these whole new sectors that are embracing and adopting technology that really bring this into more of a tech space. It's not a blue collar, hands on necessarily industry anymore.
Yeah, what's crazy is some of the things you just mentioned, BIM and drones, going back to when I started in '99. I mean, those weren't even words, right, in our space. And when they did start being talked about, many of these things were dreams, and now it seems like in the last 3-4 years, the technology evolution in our space, in my mind, there's been more evolution and more new things coming to the table in the last probably 3 to 4 years than it did the first 20 years I was in the industry combined. It's going fast.
Yeah.
Things are changing. Technology is being embraced. You're not necessarily fighting that old guard that doesn't have it. There's a new generation in place in a lot of these offices that grew up with computers and technology, and they understand this, and they're seeing how it can benefit our industry, which is really, it's a big change.
Yeah.
And it's really cool.
Yeah, the kids now grew up with a phone in their hand, a smartphone. And so that's a whole different world.
And in your world, they grew up with that phone in their hand. So if they're working in the field, they expect to put things in that phone in the field.
It's not a hard thing anymore. It used to be, I mean, it was a tough sell back in the day to stick a Palm Pilot in somebody's hand in an OtterBox and get a construction company to invest in that, or a BlackBerry. Like, I'm not buying them a $600 phone. There's no way I'm paying for a day.
Well, yeah, the Palm Pilots and the BlackBerries, when we started doing all these things in the field, that was the argument. Like, I'm not spending that money. These guys are going to break these things. They're going to go missing in a week or two. And now you have someone out there they'll cling to their phone at all costs. Yeah, they're not going to lose it, right? It's just it's part of who they are. Yeah. So yeah, it's changed quite a bit. It's interesting.
It's been fun. So great to have you on again. Just love these conversations. We are thankful to be a part of the Foundation family. I'm excited for the great work we're going to do together for the industry, not just Foundation customers, not just WorkMax customers, but for companies out there that have needs in mobility, in getting this data, in payroll, in, being more efficient at what they're already doing, but being able to take better care of their people with more profitability and more success. So,
well, thank you for having me on, and we're super excited to have you guys part of the Foundation family and on the team. It's really, really exciting on our end.
Awesome. Well, it's going to be great. We'll do this again down the road, but it was a lot of fun to have you back on. It's been over 2 years, I think, since you're on the last time. So,
thank you.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you for joining us today on the Mobile Workforce Podcast, sponsored by About Time Technologies and WorkMax. If you liked the conversation we had today, or were able to learn anything new or helpful, please make sure to follow us on our WorkMax page on LinkedIn and on Instagram at WorkMax_. And subscribe to the show on iTunes or your preferred podcast platform so you will never miss another insightful episode. Also, if you enjoyed the podcast, please leave us a 5-star rating and review and share the show with your friends and colleagues. Your support means the world to us and will allow us to continue providing impactful information with others looking to improve their results in their business and, in turn, their life.